Hello, hello. Are you guys here? Very good.
Hi,
I see you guys.
hi, Suji. Good morning. Hello, everybody.
Good morning, good morning. All right, just setting up here. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, they're kind of waiting for people to come in. All right, guys, I'm sharing my screen here. So welcome. This is sort of the official, the first class, right? The last one was a kickoff meeting. It's really interesting to see a lot of you kind of working with each other, right? I see the Slack window. Slack channel is pretty active, so that's really great, right? So, so we're going to figure out a few things. Let me see, can everybody hear me okay? All right, excellent. And everybody's in the document here, right? So this is the class document, and you guys have this already. So there's a couple of things I wanted to address, right? So one thing I found out, you can see my screen here, right? So here's my, so let's say I want to check your assignments. What happens was, right, I can look at the assignment. 1 second, there you go, right? I can. So basically, when you guys do this, it all comes into the folder, right? So if I show you the folder, you can see what's going on, right? If you just submit an assignment, it'll just look like something like this, right? So I would have no way of knowing, like, especially when we're going to share each other's work and kind of create each other's work. Like I would know, right? When I look at this, I know how you get submitted, and I can sort of click on the assignment and do this. But that's not what we are doing here, because we are going to correct each other's, right? So what I want to do is when you guys turn in the assignment, we need to have a little system in place. So like, for example, if I share the document, share the directory with you guys, you should look at what is each one's work, right? So here's how I am proposing we do this. So if in the welcome document, if you scroll down a bit, I put a little thing on how to submit the assignment. Basically very simple. What we are going to do, we're going to just put our name, right? And then just name, underscore, and then basically whatever the assignment name is. And that's all we need. But if you're going to submit multiple ones, you can do like 1, 2, 3 if you like, right? That's it. So I think some of you already have done this already, so that's very good. Like, there we go. So I see Alan Lynch, right? So perfect, right? So this way we know where it came from. So, right, so here's Alan's, right? 1 and 2. So that's very good, Alan. Yeah, so nicely done. So this is what we are going to do. So if you can submit the assignment, basically, you can resubmit again. I think you had like unsubmit and then resubmit again, and then it'll show up. So here's the process. So once you guys done this assignment, I'm going to share the class, the directory with the class. So you will all have read-only access, and you can sort of look at each other's assignment and give feedback. Does that make sense, guys? All right. So this way we can sort of streamline the whole process. Also, a couple of notice I want to send you guys. When you submit the assignment, please submit Jupyter notebooks. Here's why, right? So here's what's going to happen. Basically, when I share the drive for you guys, so let's say I want to look at Alan's notebook, right? You simply double click on this, and then they will ask you, do you want to open this in Google Collab? Say sure, right? Open in Collab, right? And then you can review, you can even run this, you know what I mean? All right, everything right there. So it's very convenient. So so please submit a Jupyter notebooks. It makes it easy for us to right, kind of look at the notebook and give feedback. What do you guys think? Is this doable? Any comments on this one, guys?
Can we provide a link to a Collab document?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So yeah, I think, let me see if you guys have it. I think I have a thing here. Right. So there we go. Right. We talk about setting up your Python environment. When you're going to go in here, right? So this kind of walks you through all the options. So the Google Colab is the first option I'm recommending to you guys. And I know a lot of you are trying to set up your own environment as well, and we'll get to that. Right? I know there are some issues, some comments, but I'll just say, don't kind of wait for you to set up your own environment. Start with the Collab, because that's, like I said, ready-made, right? You can start with this right away. So does that make sense, guys? Yeah. So any question on the sort of the assignments and everything else? So basically, I'm putting everything into the welcome doc. So this will be like a living document. I'll kind of keep updating it, right? So how's an assignment? And at the end of every session, I think we are recording the session, so I'll kind of put a link also, right? So in case you couldn't make it or need to leave early, right? So you can always check here to see the video. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So another thing you're going to do. So okay. So now you know how to submit the assignment, right? Again, we are kind of doing all this just so how do you say it? There's some accountability, right? So there's some checkpoint, because we all know, just self-learning alone doesn't work, right? So we are kind of basically motivate each other. So when you say, hey, assignments due, and somebody's going to be looking at it, there's a little bit of a push for you to submit the assignment, right? All right. So assignment names. Okay, we got it, right? Now, how am I going to assign the assignments to you guys? It's very simple. So let me see if we can head. All right, can you guys do me a favor? All right. In the welcome window, can you guys, you should see a section called assignment partners. Can you guys come to this Excel spreadsheet, right? And basically add your names on the first sheet. Like somebody already done this very good, all right? So I need your name, excuse me, an email, because I need the email because I don't need the email because I have your emails. The reason you're putting your email here is your partner can contact you, right? So go ahead and kind of add your names here, guys. You should be able to edit this document. Again, in your welcome document, you should see right here, right? Assignment partners, like page 2, okay? All right, let's take a minute. Go ahead and add your details here. And I'm going to show you guys how we are going to assign the work to each other. Okay. All right, guys. So we are right now add the document. So you don't need to sort of add to the top. Feel free to add to the bottom as well, and I'll kind of merge them together. So don't worry about right? Yeah. Okay. And when you see like a little this like a box highlighter, that means somebody's editing it, right? So don't edit that box. Go ahead and choose another one, right? So. Okay, I think we have about how many? We have about 30 people here, actually 40, right? So you can start at the bottom as well. So if you don't want to compete for the top top rows, doesn't matter. Just add somewhere at the bottom, right? And you should be fine. Okay. And I'm going to give you some minute to kind of add this, and then I'm going to show you guys how we are going to assign each other's work, right? All right, guys. So just to make sure everybody's on board, right? Again, here's the welcome document. I want to make sure everybody has the link. Let me put this link in the chat window here. All right. Okay, so again, you should have this URL bookmarked by now, right? Because this is where all the links are going to come in. Oops, sorry, not everybody. All right, keep this URL bookmarked. So because this is the only URL you guys need. Everything else is here, right? All right, so what we are doing, guys, here is we can come down a bit. Look at the assignment partners. So you're kind of basically punching in your details here. So if you click on the document, you will come to this one, right? I'm going to give you guys a minute to kind of enter your details, and I will show you guys how you're going to assign each other work. So, all right, is everyone able to edit this file, guys? Yeah. So the question is, how do you open the file in Collab? It's very simple, right? So as you guys are doing this, let me show you guys this, right? When you click on somebody's IPython notebook, right? Simply just double click, and on the top you see a link saying open with Collab. That's it. Click that, and it'll basically take you there. Yeah, easy. Okay. All right. And yeah, thanks, Alan, for doing a great job. Right, I see your code looks great, and also I see you've done the naming convention as well. So very good. Thank you for that. All right, guys, are we all done with this one? If we are, let me show you guys how we are going to assign the assignments. Let me start with like just a few, just to kind of right, just to kind of give you guys a sense for it. So let me just copy the first few columns. You want to come to assignment 1, right? So here's what's going to happen, right? So what I'm going to do, right? I want to have you guys oops, this one. All right. Same here. Cool. All right. So what we're going to do, here's what I'm going to do, right? It's very simple and very low tech, but it surprisingly works really well. All right, I'm going to randomize you guys. So, all right. So I'm going to say randomize. All right. And I'm going to randomize you guys again. And this is your partnership. Okay. So Vinith is going to be with Qpeng, Ashley with Umesh, right? Very simple, right? So yeah, we're just doing a little Excel magic to, and every week I'm going to have you guys assigned with different people, because part of the class I want to get out of this class is you guys have some networking, right? It's always good to network with others, develop your own network, right? So right, you guys saw that, right? Very simply, again, this is not the final one, guys. I'm just demonstrating to you guys. So I'm just going to simply randomize, all right, and also randomize, all right, and that becomes your assignment. So everybody can have their own partner. Does that make sense, guys? So this is what I'm going to do. So each week, they just check the like not each week, each assignment, right? Because sometimes we have multiple assignments, right? And then just look at your partner, and then it'll kind of keep randomly doing. All right, I guess ready for the kicker. Let's come on that. First 3 teams, right? Who was landing on the first 3 spots? You had to present to the class or each other solution, right? So let's say Ken, let's say you are reviewing Vinith's work, right? Now in the following class, I kind of want you guys to do a quick presentation, just show the code and then say, hey, this is what Vinith submitted, and I like this one. Kind of highlight, if they use some clever tricks, highlight that, right? And also, if you like something about the code, you say, hey, the code has very good comments, right? Or we need to, our code might have, some links to some external links, right? So whatever, right? Just, because code is more than code. So you can highlight this. So 1 minute basically each, right? So, right? So, Ken will present and also Vinith will present, right? So basically, I want to move this very quickly. So 1 minute each. So kind of, demonstrate each other's work and say, here's how we sort of, created each other's work, basically. So just like a little, right? So this way, everybody gets a chance to review each other's work. And I want to make sure you guys are also kind of, present to the class as well, right? And whoever lands on the first 3. So, right? So, so for example, okay, right? So, so I want to kind of, I'll sort of figure out the finalizer version, right? But this is just kind of how this is going to work. Is it going to make sense, guys? Yeah. Okay. So, and any question on this one, guys? This is kind of what I'm thinking. Again, I'm very much open to your feedback. Yeah, go ahead and yeah, let's kind of get your thoughts on this one. Anyone have any questions or comments on this one? Let me know, please. What do you guys think? sorry, yeah, feel free to open up, open up from mute and speak. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is fine, but the problem is that everyone will be having different knowledge levels. So I just wonder, like, not everyone will, when they're presenting, may not be presenting as per your expectation or something like that.
Yeah. I'm noticing what you're saying. Like, for example, I'm looking at Ken, like, so Ken's like reviewing, like, Vinay, and then, but also Ken, Ken's work reviewed by Tom as well, right? Yeah, okay. Let me figure this out. It's just a factor of randomizing. Maybe, we'll just have like, like one, like for example, maybe, this group doing a presentation, right? So just 1 minute each, reviewing each other's work. So yeah, we'll figure this out. Yeah, I see what you're pointing out. Yeah, I kind of want it to be one-to-one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, good point. Cool, guys. So this is how I'm kind of envisioning anything. So we'll try this out, and if it doesn't work out, we'll figure something out. Okay, so what are the changes, guys? So please make sure when you're doing the assignment submission, right, stick to the naming convention, right? So we know where it came from. And also submit Jupyter notebooks. It makes reviewing very easy, because I noticed some of them are like in like some of them are MD files, HTML files, right? Yeah, let's stand as a Jupyter notebooks. Okay. And also use the news group for communicating, and also Slack. I know you guys been active on Slack as well, right? So if you send me a message, basically, you probably have it, right? So, probably while I get back to you. So it's easier for you guys to do the news group and the Slack channel, right? So cool. What do you guys think? This will work? Yeah, okay. We'll give this a try, right? Again, because if we look at the Google Classroom, it's okay, right? But it's kind of built for like a traditional classroom, right? Like you guys submit, right? Then then I sort of give you, I grade and I give you give you an assignment. So it's kind of built for a traditional classroom. That's not what we are doing here, right? So yeah, so we'll figure this out. For the most part, it seems to be okay, and I know everybody's able to get access to Google Classroom. So we'll see, right? If this doesn't work, we'll figure something else. Okay, so. Right, so that's right. So another question is like, when you start getting more and more involved assignments, and for example, because so far the assignments are pretty straightforward, right? You can do everything in the one notebook. Once you start including other packages, then Google Colab is a little, how do you say? It's not very straightforward. Let me just say that, right? You can sort of do it, but it's a little convoluted. At that point, I'm hoping, like everybody will have a local environment ready. So for example, let's say I'm going to grade Alan's notebook, right? I'll just simply right click and then say download, right? And then download and run on your own environment, right? So because at that point, we'll be everybody. I'm expecting everybody to have their own environment set up, and we can run it. Yeah. So good question, and I think we can deal with this by running locally. Yeah. Yeah. Good, guys. Is that gonna make sense? Yeah. Great question, Ahmed. Yeah. Sounds like you have used Collab before. That's right. Yeah. All right, guys. Let me see the comments here on the chat window. Right. So how about note on the list? So basically, remember, so that's why I want this list to be complete, guys. Right. Again, so remember, let me delete this because this is not the final disk, right? This is not the final final list, right? This is just an example. So that's why I want everybody to be here first, so I can kind of have an entire group, and I will assign each other. Is that gonna make sense, right? So yeah, so I'll kind of wait for everybody to kind of add their details, and then I will do the final assignment. Okay, and I will do that by end of the class today. All right, guys. So those are the two issues I encountered. Oh yeah, the class notes are right here, right? So you can always, right? So this is the link. Put this one more time. Yeah, so please save this, right? Because like I said, good, guys. So now let's talk about the past Right? I know the first week, we had some, I sent some work, and I'll kind of keep doing this, right? So what do you guys think about this one? Let's talk about the logistics. Google Classroom, is that working out for you guys? Because I want to make sure, right? I want to kind of make sure this is as simple as possible. We don't want to kind of complicate this unnecessarily. Google Classroom, yeah. I know there were some difficulties joining earlier, but so if you had trouble joining Google Classroom, and this is something I had to work with, I don't know why. Basically, if you just use a private window, right, and then log in, that solves a lot of the problems, right? I don't know why, but it's something with the Google account setup or whatever. But I was trying a trial account and I couldn't log in. But then I sort of did a private window, incognito window, and I was able to log in. So if you have trouble logging in, try that. That should work. Okay, so basically, I'm going to posting this section by section. So right now we are up to, right, Python 4. Basic idea here is, right, again, if you look at the assignment, right, so again, we are following the same reading path, right? So if you look at the, learning path of machine learning, that's what we are following, right? And you look at the contents. And basically, we are doing Python basics. Right? We're not going to spend too much time, spending too much time in Python. I just want to learn the bare bones. So in Python basics, right, you sort of see, how they're doing, right? So right now we have to like Python 4. And this week I'll also add Python 5, right? The data structure. This is a little involved. So right now we are kind of getting more serious into Python, right? And I'll kind of stop that, right? Yeah, so guys, the assignment you can always submit at any time, right? So like once I send your partner, you guys will kind of figure out and work, work with each other, right? So you guys will figure it out. Just be ready for the next, before the next Saturday, right? That's the idea. So you can, let's say you're grading somebody's work and they haven't done, they haven't submitted it. You can want to like push them and say, hey, I'm waiting for your work, right? So this way, there's a little bit of a peer pressure to kind of move you guys along. And that's why we are doing this, right? Because, if I just give you guys a video and then say, hey, go watch the video, right? And, that's just like Coursera or YouTube, right? I mean, right? So, yeah, doesn't work for, a lot of people. Absolutely, yeah. So you guys want to actually review, right? Yeah, so once I assign you guys to each other, right? Once I set up the partners, feel free to work, among, between you guys. So you can sort of email each other, right? You guys can, you can do like your own private review session, whatever, right? That's completely up to you guys. And I definitely want you guys to work. So don't wait till the next class, because in the class you're going to be, if you're presenting, you're only presenting, right? So kind of, start working beforehand. Yeah, so that's up to you guys, right? That's completely between you guys, how you organize your time and coordinate. Yeah. So I'm hoping this is a, slightly different approach. So you can motivate each other and get things going. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. All right, so we're going to try this out. Yeah, so we will be doing so the reason I'm Keith's question is like, how about solutions, right? So here's what's going to happen. This is what I'm thinking, guys, right? I'm happy to provide solution, but I rather want to have you guys actually look at each other's work. So when you guys do the review, and here's where the presentation is important. So when you guys are going to be presenting, right? Let's say, these three guys are presenting. So they will make sure that whatever they are presenting is, is pretty solid, right? They will make sure everything works, is commented, is clean, right? So I would recommend, these will be in pretty good shape, right? Because, they're not going to be presenting sloppy work. I'm assuming, right? so these should be pretty good. So let's kind of start with these. And if you still, need solution, I'm happy to provide the solution, right? But the idea is like, most of you are going to do really well, and you can look at each other's work, and and once you submit the assignment, I will share this document. I'm going to share this folder with you guys, so you will have access to everybody's work, right? This is completely open, right? There's no like a secret or anything, right? Completely open. You can review each other's work and learn from each other's work. Yeah. So cool. What else we should talk about, guys? Any questions? Feel free to go in the chat window, speak up anytime, please. Yeah. Excellent. Question was, what if I am falling behind, like I couldn't make it? That's fine, right? So let's say, you're unable to make, go into, let's say that we had a busy week, you couldn't do the assignment. Just let me know, or let your partner know, how can I reassign, let's say I'm just making this up, right? So, let's say Ken's presenting, but let's say Vinny is unable to complete the work, right? So you can always come back and say, hey, I can't do this. What you guys can recommend, I guess, do is use Slack to sort of, trade places with somebody. So maybe Vinny can say, hey, I can do the assignment this weekend. Somebody wants to swap places with me, right? And do that, and that's perfectly okay. So don't don't go through me, because like I said, I don't want to be the bottleneck. Please, coordinate among yourselves, and easily you can assign, you can trade places. Yeah. So, but I definitely want to get the presentation going, because I think that'll really kind of, make sure, we have some momentum going, right? Otherwise it's kind of, you'll fall behind and things happen. So, okay. Good question. Okay, so let me see. Keeping, so again, same thing, the classroom page, right? So what you want to do is you want to go to Google Classroom, right? You don't want to go to the actual link. And this is a little, right, a little thing on Google Classroom. You want to go to the Google Classroom page, right, like classroom.google.com, and then say join, and then enter this code. Because like everywhere, what I found is like, the links I have, those are different for everybody for some reason. So don't use the link, right? You just want to go to classroom.google.com and enter the code, and you'll probably get your own private link. So you should try that, yeah? All right, guys. Question was, how do you have access to the directory? Not yet. I haven't shared the directory yet. So so this is just a regular. So this is like, so the way it's going to happen is, right, so the way Google's doing this is, you guys can see my screen. So this is, this you guys are batch 1, right? Every assignment gets a dedicated Google Drive, right? So what I can do is, just like any other Google Drive, I can simply say, okay, hey, assignment 1, I'm going to share with everybody. Then I'm going to say, okay, everybody who has the link, can view this folder. That's it, right? And then, I'll send you guys, I'll post a link on the welcome page, and then, and you can go in, and you'll have read-only access to the folder, right? And then you can simply, look at this one, and then, let's say you assign to somebody's work, you simply, open the work in Collab or download it either way, and you can give them feedback. Yeah. Okay. So again, I haven't given any access just yet, guys, because remember, before I do this, first we need to kind of make sure the assignments need to have the right name format, right? Because, for example, otherwise, let's say I assign you guys somebody's, like, let's say, Tom's file. Like, if you look at the directory right now, right? I don't know, which one's Tom, right? Because they all have, like, sort of common names. So first we need to kind of have your assignment submitted with this format, with your name and then exercise, and then you will know who your partner is, and then you pick up that file. Yep. Okay. Okay. Assignment submissions are through Google Classroom, right? So basically, if you go to Google Classroom, you can submit your work, right? So so I'm not involved right now, but if you're involved, and if you look at the assignment, you'll see like a little link that says submit assignment, and you can just upload a file, and that's it, right? Yeah. Okay. So a question about Slack versus Google Groups. Good question, right? So both have their purpose. Like, for example, usually when I make announcements, I'm going to do it in Google Groups because it's easier to navigate groups. Slack, you can also post in groups, right? That's perfectly okay. But Slack, you can use it for very quick. Like, let's say you say, hey, I'm stuck on this problem. Anybody have the same problem, right? And Slack is very, real time. You can keep going. So I'm not going to say use one or the other. Kind of, find whichever one works for you guys. But the announcements usually will come to the Google group because, they tend to be sticky, right? Because in Slack, messages kind of scroll up very quickly. It's very hard to keep track, right? So yeah, so so what I would recommend is use Slack, maybe like for kind of talk among yourselves and do coordination, and then keep an eye on the Google group for like announcements and whatnot. Yeah. But you can also feel free to post on Google group, because sometimes it's easier to post code on Google group than on Slack, right? Because it's kind of hard, right? So anyway, so it's up to you guys. I'm not saying one way or another. Whichever one works for you guys, it's fine. So I see the comment from Tom. Right, I know college is starting back. I know. So Tom, is she going in person or online? How are the colleges starting back up?
I moved her to Kansas University from St. Louis, and so it's a mixed environment.
Okay.
1 day online, 1 day all in the classroom, and 3 days of mixed.
Interesting. Okay. So she's actually living in the college right now, or she's living at home?
No, they made appointments in order to stagger the arrival of the campus. You made appointments to move in, and that way you were on your floor with only, say, 2 to 10% of the people who are going to be there to minimize the interaction. And
Gotcha.
and so she was being the daughter of a software developer. She had a very good mindset. My room looks perfectly cute for the 3 weeks I will be here until they quarantine all of us and send all of us home. So, so however it works out.
Interesting. I know. Yeah, it's kind of very strange times, right? I know. And I know one of my friends' kid, he was looking forward to going away to college, but now, he's stuck at home because, they are doing online. So maybe next year. That's what I told him.
For all of the challenges that all of the people in this group have gone past, in the end, this will end up being a small thing, but it's a big deal right now.
Yeah. I hear you. Very good. And these things will happen, right? Life, work, things happen. People get busy. But I kind of want to keep the classroom moving, right? So, and that's why I'm kind of wanting you guys kind of be each other's kind of like a little buddies, and have like a little buddy system and pushing each other, right? And like let's say if you can make 1 week or that, that's fine. Life happens. Just coordinate with somebody else, right? So you don't need to kind of let me know anything. You can just sort of talk among yourselves, and then you can change the assignments, right? As long as you're not falling behind 3-4 weeks in a row, you should be able to catch up, right? So that's what I always say. And because I know this pretty well, because like I said, in self-learnings, let's say I'm doing a course on Coursera or whatever. I'll say, oh, this week I'm just too busy. I'll just do it next week. And then next week there's something else. You know what I mean? So it kind of keeps going after. And then once you lose the momentum, it's kind of right. It's very hard to get back on. So I kind of don't want this to happen in this batch. Good, guys. So question, provide answers. Here's the thing, right? David's question is like, how about answers? So I always say the question like, how do you say, don't give a man a fish, but teach him to fish, kind of a thing, right? So I recommend you guys sort of guide each other towards the answer. You can say, hey, read this blog, read this Stack Overflow, these will give you some ideas. Or if somebody's really stuck on like this one line of code, they have some bug, you can say, hey, there's a bug on this line of code and here's a problem, right? Yeah. So kind of guide them towards the answer, right? Don't just give them the answer, because once you have the answer, people say click the answer, run, it runs, and say, oh cool, it's done, right? You kind of want to like teach them to fish, right? That's the idea. So yeah, but again, like I said, we all grown-ups, we all adults here, right? So we use our judgment. So yeah, but usually I would encourage not to just give outright answers, because that kind of deprives them of learning, right? So cool, guys. Anything else we should talk? So these are so again, starting this week, I want to kind of keep pushing the class in a good pace, right? Because we don't want to kind of spend too much time in the beginning and or get bogged down on logistics. I'll kind of figure this out, and I think we already have a pretty good answer, and then you'll kind of keep moving forward. All right. So learning path. This is what I'm. Again, you guys have the link to this one in your welcome document. Right. This is a learning path we are doing. Okay. 1 second, guys. Okay. All right. Everyone's home. So here's another thing I want to ask you guys. If you guys have like a good link or anything, so these are some of the links I have used, right? So like for example, let's say Python basics, right? So I'm kind of giving you guys, okay, let's say how to learn data structures. So I've given you guys a few links. Right, these are from like open source books. But if you guys found like another nice link, blog or something, please let me know, because I want to kind of keep updating this, so it becomes a pretty good list. So so you don't have to go with just what I have seen. I'm sure you guys have found something on your own. Please let me know, right? And that's something you can you'll be doing me a huge favor if you help me kind of keep this list in a good quality list, right? So, and you guys have seen this already, kind of, right? How I'm kind of structuring this, for example, right? Actually, let me go back and let me look at Python 5, because this one's going to start getting a little more involved. So each section, I'll say, okay, lists. And the way assignments will work is I'll also do like ABC, right? A is like easy stuff, right? So basic stuff, just do it. So, okay, say create a list of this, do this, do this, do this. So this should be fairly trivial. And then B is sort of more medium, right? We say, okay, hey, I have a list, remove duplicates, right? So that's how things will be structured. I kind of want you guys to go as far as you guys can, right? Definitely do the easy stuff, right? And then try that in a few medium if you can. And then also, as we keep going along, I'm going to keep adding more difficult questions as well, right? But the idea here is give you guys enough exercises so you're pretty comfortable moving forward, right? So because look at the references, I just gave you guys just 2 reading lists. That's it, not too many. And I will add to this as you guys give me, if you guys give me more pointers, I'll add to them. But one thing I recommend is I don't want to add like a lot of links that give the exact same information. You know what I mean? At this point, there's no point. So I want to make sure whatever we're adding really provides value, not just the same information over and over, right? Because then the reading list kind of becomes tedious. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So, all right. So that's that. And then if you look at the overall content, I just pushed. So we are kind of moving into data analytics this week. So I kind of started, pushing content into this one. So we're starting with NumPy, right? And you sort of start seeing same thing, right? I give you guys the references, and then same thing, right? You see ABC, and also so for example, there are times there are like a lot of exercises. Like for example, this is a really GitHub repo that they have like 100 NumPy exercises. So I'm going to give it to you guys. So if you guys are really kind of curious and say, hey, I really want to learn NumPy, right? I really want to get, really want to go to the extra mile. Sure, do this. So, all right. So is this format kind of working for you guys? I want to make sure, this kind of, right? This kind of I'm envisioning, right? But I'm open to feedback. So I kind of want to like reading list, exercises, right? At the end of the chapter, I say, okay, at this point, you should be able to do this. That's it. Right, this is your checkpoint. Does it make sense? Does it make sense to you guys? Should you make any changes to this format? What do you guys think? Yeah, and also, guys, the reason I wanted to kind of one thing I want to make sure is when I give the reading list, I don't just say, go read this book, right? I actually want to give you guys a very specific chapter and say, hey, okay, go read, say, chapter 2 of this book. See what I'm saying? Because we want to be very focused learning. That we don't want to have like, and this is a very nice book, by the way, right? I don't know if you guys seen this. I have a link for this here, Python data science book. So I don't want to just say, go read this book. That's just, that's too much work. So I'm giving you guys very focused and say, read chapter 1, right? So that's how that's how I want the links to be, very focused reading, right? Because we all have other lives, right? Work, busy, work, life, kids. So, all right, guys. So this week I'm gonna post more assignments. So same format, right? As long as we are all good, we'll continue with this thing, right? So my hope is basically, once we are through with this batch, I'm hoping this learning path is it's in a very good shape, right? So that's kind of my I've been wanting to do this for a while. So so you guys are my first test batch, right? So you guys are going to help me make this better as well. You're going to feel free to give me links, give me corrections. Like for example, if sometimes the links expire, right? So and that's the thing of the internet. Like let's say I posted a link and the link is now gone. So please let me know. Should say, hey, this link's no longer working. Cool. All right, guys. So that's it. Anything else? So okay, we sort of discussed the logistics. How about all the assignments so far? I've been sort of monitoring the monitoring your conversations. Looks like the setting up the environment is the one that that a lot of some of you encounter some of the issues. And like I said, you can stick with Collab for now, but I kind of definitely want you guys to kind of get going and get the environment set up, because it's a good, how do you say, it's a good good way to have your own environment set up. You don't want to always rely on Collab. Right? Is that going to make sense, guys? Yeah. So any question on the so far in the assignment so far?
I got a question real quick, Suji. So
sure.
Any recommendation to run Python on Windows or put it on Ubuntu as we move through the exercises? Does it make a difference?
Yeah, no, I think Anaconda should work just as well on Windows, Linux, and Mac. Yep. So are you using Anaconda? So that's what I recommend. So don't kind of go with vanilla Python, just use Anaconda distribution, and that should just work. Yeah. And I'm sure there are plenty of people here using Windows, right?
Well, so, I am. I don't know about everybody else, but yeah.
I know there are plenty of Windows here, right? Yeah, definitely. So if you have any issues, please post on Slack or Google group, right, and get some help. Because here's the thing, right? And the reason I kind of had this set up early on is there's always something comes up, right? Like you have your laptop, maybe I'll tell you one issue was somebody had Norton antivirus, one of the antivirus things running, and it wouldn't let Anaconda launch. So he was Googling around and seeing why everything, I installed everything and I followed all the guides. And it turns out, you had a kind of whitelist or something, Anaconda as a trusted program in your antivirus software, right? So anyway, so there's everyone has a different environment set up. So yeah, right. So, and you had to go through because if you do a search for, getting Python environment set up, Google it, they have 10,000 guides. Thing is, unless you go through it, you wouldn't know which one works for you, right? So I hope at this point, everybody's able to have a run and set up their own environment. Again, if you have any issues, please use Google Groups or Slack to get going, right?
I guess the other question, the corollary today is why not just use Collab the whole time, right?
Collab is good, right? Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of pushing you guys towards Collab, but Collab has some restrictions. And for example, if you're, for example, if you're trying to including other modules, let's say, because, when you write software, right, you don't put everything in one file. Let's say you sort of split your work into 3 files. So each file is a module and the third file is using those previous 2 modules. Doing that in Collab is a little tricky, right? That's what I know some of you asked the question earlier. So yeah, but we are not going to run into the problem right away. That'll kind of come a little later. But at that point, using separate modules in Collab is a little messy. So that's why I kind of want you guys to still do the online, your own environment if possible, right? So kind of, so you don't have to do it today, kind of, keep at it, but, have something working. So at least you have some local environment to run. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And also I know this for I know somebody, he said, this is before the COVID situation. He basically works on his things when he was commuting on Caltrain and BART, right? Because then he doesn't have any internet access. So so having a local environment, that means you can sort of work on your own, right? That may be not an applicable scenario now, but it's always good to have a local environment. But Collab is great. I'm a big fan of Collab. Don't get me wrong, right? But I would still recommend have something local as well. Yeah. So take your time, kind of go through it and get something working. And I know there are plenty of people here who went through this. And if you read the comments, I know people are going through them. I've seen some pretty good links as well, right? So kind of go through them and see if they help. Yeah. Good. All right, guys. What else? Let me see. Right. So again, Google Classroom, guys. So here's the thing. Another thing I found. If you are part of another domain, and I don't know why they did this way. your domain has to allow, like, let's say you're part of a company domain goal, so something like food.com, right? Just whatever that is, right? And if you're a user, you're using your account there, that admin has to allow you to access classes in other domains. Am I going to make sense? Like, for example, right? So let me see if I can do this here. Right. And then if you go to this, like, let me show you here, admin. Okay. Anyway, so I was trying to show you, oh, there you go, admin. So in here, anyway, so okay, look, I don't want to go through right now. So anyway, so but the idea is like, your domain admin has to allow you to basically attend classes in other domains for whatever reason, right? So if you're having trouble logging into Google using your own company account or something, that may be a reason. So what I would recommend at that point is just use a personal account, okay? And also, use a incognito window, like a private window, to log in. Because I had to do that too. Like, because I had like a personal account, even that wasn't logging in. So, but once I used a private window, I was able to, right, do this. Yeah. So, okay. Okay. Good, guys. So how are these things going? Are you guys able to any issues we need to discuss right now?
Suji, I have a question. When I try to use, I think when I try to run the first assignment, basically to install, and then I believe I also post on the Google Classroom. Basically, there are 4 modules, which didn't come in pre-install when you install the Anaconda.
Right. Yep. I think I saw your comments. Yeah, that's a good comment. Let me. Yeah. Yeah. So. All right, yeah, these guys, right? Text blob, GenSim, yeah, exactly. So we don't need them, guys, at the moment, because these are more deep learning libraries. So that's why when you run the run, learning 1, 2, 3 environment, right? So let me see if we can go here. The testing 1, 2, 3, right? So that's why if we cannot find a library, it doesn't error out. It just simply put and say, hey, I'm unable to and it will move on. So basically for now, whatever comes with Anaconda is fine. But if you install the other ones, that's fine too. You know what I mean? So no harm done, right? Because excuse me, these guys, these are more deep learning libraries. We won't need them at the moment. Does that make sense? So yeah, but they're easy to install if you're using Anaconda, right? You can install them. And I know somebody even posts like a really good guide on how to do TensorFlow in using GPU, right? So yeah, right. So again, we are not going to get into TensorFlow soon, but yeah, but if you're installing it, that's great. So that's just the default package with Anaconda is fine for now. Yeah, and I know Anaconda, some of you had trouble, like they're kind of I can ask you to do 3.7. Anaconda's on 3.8. So again, you probably won't run into much issues, but I'll recommend seeing 3.7 because that's like the most tested version right now, right? And then you can always upgrade 3.8. So, okay. Anyway, so something kind of, like I said, everyone's machine is different. You kind of have to kind of, work your way through this, right? So, good. All right, guys. What else? Anything else?
Sorry. I have another question. You mentioned before that we should stick with Python 3.7. But is there a reason that we can use? I think you mentioned about the compatibility issue, but what are those issues? Because when I try to find the right Anaconda packages for Python 3.7, it took me really a long time.
Okay.
To find a proper one. So, and the latest one actually support 3.8, and then I believe I checked the TensorFlow. The 2.2 also supports 3.8 already. So I thought maybe that was your.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, TensorFlow was the main sticking point for me, but you're right. But I was working on TensorFlow version 2.1. So now I'm glad to see 2.2 is now uploaded to 3.8. So you guys should do 3.8, right? So yeah. So again, so one thing I was kind of caution against, like sometimes the leading versions, might have issues. But in this case, Anaconda is a very well-tested version. So if you want to do 3.8, you can do this very easily. And also in Anaconda, you can always choose a Python version, like for example, right? You can say, so let's say you install 3.8, Anaconda environment Python version. Yeah. So let me show you guys here. Right. Yeah. Right. So there we go. So even if you're running Anaconda Python, let's say 3.8, right? You can always create a specific version, a specific environment with a specific Python version. Does that make sense, guys? Right? So yeah, so don't worry. So let's say you're running 3.8, and then let's say you say, oops, I need to go back to 3.7. You can create a special environment in Python, pretty much self-contained, that'll use Python, whatever the version you guys specify. Right? So anyway, right? So yeah, this is very easy, right? So that's what I recommend. So if you're going 3.8, stick with it. And let's say later on we find out, okay, 3.8 doesn't work in some package, I'm going to go to 3.7. We can simply create another environment like this. Yeah.
So which one we need to set it as active? So in a given environment, you may have two versions, right? 3.7 and 3.8.
Right. So so I think the consensus seems to be everybody wants they're installing 3.8 and that seems to work, and that's fine, right? So let's keep using it, the latest version. And then if you need to sort of downgrade, we can very easily, we don't have to actually, so here's the thing, right? We don't have to uninstall Anaconda and reinstall. That's the beauty of the whole thing. We can just use Anaconda to have different environments. So the way you think about Anaconda is like this. Let me bring something up so I can draw here, right? All right, so think about this way, right? So Anaconda has a base version, right? So let's say this base version is say 3.8. And then you can actually create your own specialized environment with different versions, right? So for example, you can, right? So this could be say 3.6. All right. And what you will do is, and this is what another in Python is really great, is like when you create this environment, everything in this environment will be compatible with 3.7 Python. See what I'm saying? And the 3.6 Python. So what I recommend now is like, so, it looks like most of you are doing 3.8 anyway. So go ahead and install 3.8. Just go with the latest version, right? And then in the future, if we find some compatibility issue, you can always create a specialized environment for the thing. And the way you will do the environment is like before you run your Jupyter, you will activate the right environment. You say, hey, activate 3.7 and then run Jupyter on that. That's it. It's very simple.
Can we activate two versions at the same time or both?
Under different terminals, yeah. Right. So like, for example, I think, let me show you guys here. Let me bring up a terminal here, right? So here's my environment. You can sort of see my right. Right. So I have, so right now so the one with the star is the active one, right? It's Conda, and also it'll show up in your prompt, right? So this is my Conda Python, right? And then I can just open another terminal, and I can activate Conda activate. So I have like a GPU system, like so TF2 GPU, right? See how it changes, right?
Yeah, got it.
And then if you guys do like Conda list, you will see like different packages, right? So you, for example, if you see it's TensorFlow, here I have TensorFlow GPU version 2.2, right? So if I do a Conda list here, I'll have plain TensorFlow. Do I even have TensorFlow? Yeah. So right, I have a plain TensorFlow, just the base version, right? 2.2. So right, so you can easily have multiple versions, and that's perfectly okay. And that's the beauty of Anaconda, right? So that's why I'm not too worried about like what version you guys are using right now. You can always create specialized versions for certain things. Yeah. Yeah. Good question, Richard. Yeah. So go ahead and go ahead and use the latest version, guys. Right? Again, no big deal. And then if you need to downgrade, and I don't really foresee the problem because because I was using TensorFlow 2.1 and they only support 3.7, I think. but now TensorFlow 2.2 supports 3.8, then we are good. Okay, so good. Yeah, good question. All right, guys, so that's how you manage multiple environments. So here I'm just doing in command line, but you can do it using the UI as well. So here I have 3 versions, right? So base version, Python 3, and the TF2, right? GPU version. So make sense? Cool. Good question.
So another question is, if you install Anaconda and install the additional packages, and some reason if I want to uninstall Anaconda, so does the package also get uninstalled with that Anaconda entire package, or we need to specifically delete those packages?
So you are uninstalling Anaconda, the entire Anaconda distribution, right?
Yeah. So the stepwise, right? Install the distribution first, then installing the required packages.
Yeah.
Then if I uninstall the actual distribution, so does it also uninstall the packages?
Yeah. So basically, your Anaconda is going to be installed in this, in this directory, right? And when you uninstall, it'll basically delete everything. Like you sort of see each environment is under the main directory, right? You sort of see that, right? So it's under my Anaconda 3 directory, each environment. So if you want to uninstall Anaconda, yeah, it'll basically uninstall everything for you, right? Everything under the directory is just deleted. Yeah. So you don't have to delete individual packages. Yeah. And that's why Anaconda is great, because let's say you're experimenting, you're not happy with one version, you can simply delete that version, and that's it. It'll simply delete the directory, and that's it. It's done.
Yeah, because I done uninstallation, but it doesn't deleted Python 3.7. So then I need to create a new folder, Anaconda 3, and then reinstall the entire distribution.
Right. So maybe one thing I would double check is like maybe they have updated your path environment. I will double check that.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe that is still pointing to the old environment. Yeah. So kind of clean out the path, and that's it. Yeah. Yeah. And anything you can just simply do is like you can say which. I mean, I don't know if you have links over. You can simply say which Python. See how it says right now. It's under this Python here is in the Conda Python 3 environment bin Python, right? So if I say which Python here, it'll probably say TPU. Say it's under GPU Python, right? So yeah. So they are kind of these are like completely segregated environments. Make sense? Yeah. So they won't intercept. So they will kind of create a unique environment just for you whatever the version you want. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, give it a try. And like I said, if you have any issues, again, so guys, just a kind of word of version, right? I don't want to spend too much time in this one because I want to kind of get this going and keep going, right? Because I don't want to get stuck on this step. So find whatever works for you guys and move on. Yep. Because we have a lot of other things to cover. Sure.
Any system requirements, minimum RAM, hard disk requirements?
I would say at least you need 4 gig RAM, at least, I think. And these days pretty much, laptops have, that much RAM, 4 gig, that should be fine. Yeah. Hard disk, again, I wouldn't say more than, 20, 30 gig. Yeah. Because, yeah, right. So pretty much any modest laptop, you should be able to run it.
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, I want these meetings to kind of be like this, very quickly discuss, the week's assignment, any issues, right? And then, so this way, the class keeps moving, right? And the assignments, so you guys should keep an eye on the group. And as I post the assignments here, they're going to show up and then kind of, right, do those, right? So I kind of want this to be completely asynchronous. For example, some of you said, hey, I can only start working on these things on Fridays, right? Like my week is busy. That's perfectly okay, right? We don't need to sync up. I'll post them as we go along. And even here, right, even though I posted assignment 5, it's not due till next week, right? So I'll kind of keep adding this. So because I don't have a due date set, right? I'll set it for next week. Even if you're running late, that's fine. You can submit it. So again, there's no penalty or anything, right? This is just I set up a date just so you guys know, when it's due. So especially if you're working with somebody else to review your work, again, that's something you guys will coordinate, right? So. Good guys, right? So this is again to me. I'll keep kind of pushing this because I'm kind of updating this as I go along, and I have a lot of pointers in my personal repo. So I'll kind of I'm curating them into this. Please let me know, right? If you find like a nice link, nice video or something, I'm happy to add this here. Yeah. All right, guys. So anything else we should discuss? All right, guys. So this week, here's what I'm thinking. We'll kind of move into most of the data structures, and also I'm going to also do Python data analysis with NumPy and Pandas. Again, NumPy, Pandas, these are very, I mean, you can spend like, weeks learning NumPy, weeks learning Pandas. What I want to do is that we are only going to learn sort of the, sort of the essentials, right? Just so, we can get going. And I'll give you guys links. For example, if you want to get good at NumPy, I'll post links here, right? You can always kind of, deep dive into NumPy, but these are kind of essential. So, we can actually, right, keep moving, right? Because we don't want to bog down in one section. Okay, cool. All right, so that's a plan, right? Again, you can reach me always in Slack, or I check both Slack and Google group, right? So feel free to kind of right, always right. I monitor this, but I recommend you guys talk among yourself, right? So okay, so one final check is everybody done updating your info here, because I'm going to kind of I'm going to assign you guys the partners, right? So please again, the link is right here in the welcome document. Assignment partners, right? Please right, add your details here, and definitely put your email, because I want you guys to communicate among yourself. Use Slack channel if you want, right? Slack channel, whatever, right? Your email, whatever one works for you guys. But please add your name and email at least here, so your partner can reach you guys. And if somebody's non-responsive or they're busy, feel free to swap with somebody else, right? And that's, again, you don't have to come to me. Just do it. You should be able to do it on your own. Yeah. So good, guys. I think that's it. Anything else? Questions, comments, suggestions? Cool. I think we have about 35 to 40 people, right? So I want to make sure you guys are all in the Google Classroom. So please, all right. So I 60. Okay, very good. Okay. All right. So again, the goal is, right, have you guys move you guys forward, right? That's the only goal here. And whatever works, we will adapt and move forward. All right, guys. Anything else we should discuss? Oh, the Excel sheet is right here, right? So again, if you come to the welcome, right? Again, this is your go-to link, right? Everything's going to come in here, guys. Just scroll down, right? Assignment partners. You see page 2, right? That's a link. Okay. So please have it done by the end of the class today. So because I want to get you guys set up. And again, the rules are basically, right, we're going to randomly assign people, and what I'm planning to do is kind of randomly assign each other. And so I'm trying to figure out how to. I'll figure this out, right? But I want sort of the top 3 people to sort of do the quick presentation. Nothing much, just 1 minute. Just share your screen and say, hey, here's a code I reviewed. This is what I liked. This is really good, and maybe or you could even give feedback and say, hey, okay, I would have done it this way, right? Or this is how I did it, something like that, right? So this way, right? So, and you're kind of reviewing each other's work, so the kind of right. So this way is a little bit of accountability, right? So, and if it doesn't work, we will figure out some other way. Again, this is not a final list, guys. I want to make sure, right? So you don't get hung up on this one. This is not the final list. I will update the list soon. Okay. All right, guys, that's it from my side. Anything else? So I hope this format works. Again, it's kind of an experiment, right? So thank you for being flexible and being open-minded. But I do hope we make good progress and succeed, right? Because I kind of want this to be a template for future classes. So, and I think So first week's always kind of a little choppy because we are trying to figure things out. I think we have pretty much figured out all the issues. And and so next week on, things will kind of move pretty quickly, right? All right, so unless there's any other questions, I think we are going to wrap this up. Any other questions, guys? Maybe in the next 2 minutes. Very good. So I am recording this session, even though I honestly think the values if you actually right. Kind of this is your time to kind of ask questions and interact with me, but I know some of you are in different time zones and maybe don't know able to make it. So I'll record the session. That's no problem. But again, most important thing is you guys interacting among yourself, right? Not just with me. So Yeah, Python basic is pretty much complete, guys. I have one more exercise, which is basically the last one. Python 5 is I'm going to assign this week, right? And then yeah, so we are done with pretty much the rest. And then yeah, we'll be out of this because I want to. Next section is Python analytics. You can see it from a learning path. All right, we're almost done with Python basics. So we're going to move on to Python analytics soon. All right, so. Right, yeah, your partner is going to be in the doc, right? Again, yeah. So once I have everybody's details, I will add you guys to the doc. Okay. So again, if you guys think of a better way of doing this, please let me know, right? Again, like I said, this is just kind of my thinking. I'm very much open to your feedback. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. So again, like I said, these weekly sessions, we'll keep it like an aim for an hour. Maybe we'll go a little longer, like 10 minutes longer. Maybe that's fine. But yeah, right, we'll keep this moving. All right, guys, anything else? One last chance. Excellent, guys. Thank you so much. So keep an eye on your our usual Google group and Slack for the future assignments. Again, like I said, next week we are going to go very quickly, right? So one suggestion I will have, right, is don't put off your work till the last day. And this is something, I made a mistake like this too. At least start looking at it on, like maybe, Monday or Tuesday, just to at least maybe like do like the first section, first like maybe like a couple of lines of code. Because if you sort of put everything to the last minute, and then you're kind of scrambling, right? So, and that's my advice to you guys, kind of, just to kind of keep you guys, kind of moving. At least just maybe even if you can only spend like 5-10 minutes a day, do it, right? Maybe do some reading, right? Because the first part of the week you're going to be doing a lot of reading, right? So kind of get started. Maybe you don't like the reading list I gave you. Maybe you're googling around, you found something nicer. Do that. Share it with me. Right? So, okay. Cool, guys. Yeah. So please submit on Google Classroom. Right. That's easy. Makes it easier to share with everybody. For the session record, everything is here, guys. Right. So if you scroll all the way down, I'm going to post the session details every week, including with the recording. Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, guys. Until next week. Yeah. See ya.
Thanks, all.